Future Excellence Research Center. I want to talk today just a few things very quickly about prep, and then we'll have room for questions. So first, who are we? What is prep? Where does it come from? The reasons why your student may be interested in joining prep, and then the application process, because we know that can be complicated and there's lots of questions surrounding it. So prep is a program that's designed to inspire interest in STEM fields for students who are in middle school and then high school. And it gives them these really powerful opportunities to engage in abstract reasoning and problem solving by being exposed to real world STEM problems and questions, and then meeting STEM speakers and going to field trips, getting to see interesting sites where STEM careers actually happen live on the job. And all of this builds these fundamental skills, these identities, and gets them to meet students who are similarly interested. It was founded by a math professor years and years ago. And it's expanded quite a lot since then, 33 sites in 25 cities and across 7 states. So it's a very large program, and it's been going on for some time. So we like to think that it's had some success in expansion. So why might you want to join prep? Or why would your student want to join prep? First of all, I think this is, for me, this is the most important one, is inspiring imagination. STEM is such a vast and interlocking group of fields, and the whole goal is to solve real world problems. And that's what a lot of what we do in prep is prepare them to look at real world problems and then find solutions through engineering, through creative use of mathematics, through science and technology. And then to experience the college campus, we found that students who visit a college campus are much more comfortable when they arrive there. By the time they reach college, they already know where they can find food or where they can find the library. They've been in the buildings, they sort of know the campus, and it's not some strange, new, scary place. It's just a place they used to come during the summers. So it can be really fun and comforting when they finally reach college to go say, I've already been here, I know everything, I know where to go. To sharpen those mathematics skills, during the summer, it's easy to take a lot of time off and maybe not forget a few things that you learned during the year. And when they participate in prep, they have the opportunity to keep those STEM skills, including mathematics, very strong, and then be exposed to new ideas even before they're going to see them in the classroom. And even if they don't perfectly acquire them, perfectly understand them, they at least have some understanding. They know somewhat about what's going on. And so learning algebra or learning about the very beginnings of calculus might not be so scary if they've seen it before. Develop problem-solving skills and explore STEM careers. We absolutely want students to develop problem-solving skills, especially in the STEM, because that's the whole point, is to solve real-world problems with these powerful tools that we have at our disposal. And then exploring these STEM careers, they get to meet real people who are working in real STEM fields. They get to meet professors, and they get to meet teachers, and all these really nice people that are working in STEM and are engaged in STEM. So thinking about creative ways they can use these skills to help people make new friends and prepare for their future, I think these go hand in hand. I'm a firm believer that you can do anything as long as you like the people who are around you. And having a support system for when they enter the classroom, not only in middle school and high school, but even into college, knowing some people is so valuable when you walk into a classroom and know, I'm not alone here, I know someone else. And then to promote that interest, right? Because if their friends are interested in STEM, well, then they can be interested in STEM too. Achieving goals, because this is very much focused on project work, on finding a problem and solving a problem, it helps with goal setting, being realistic in our goals, being timely in our goals, having our SMART goals, and getting practice achieving them. And then lastly, there is an optional high school elective credit available for students who successfully complete the program each year. So it's not just that they get to have fun and get to do all these amazing things. They can be earning high school credit if they apply for it when they enter high school. So the courses that are offered are extremely varied. It's generally a broad to narrow approach. So we approach things like logic and applications mathematics, which is a very general, applicable to all kinds of STEM fields. And as they move on, they'll be getting into more specific skills like computer science and advanced science and engineering, which is, as you can see, can sometimes be water science, nanotechnology, even cybersecurity, which are really, really engaging programs, and they're really interesting to learn about. But at all years, we do focus on problem solving systems, STEM career awareness, research and study skills, and then, of course, field trips and special events. It is a summer program, so we do want to have lots of fun as well. We want students to learn, we want students to be engaged, but we want them to have some fun. So these field trips give them the opportunity to go new places, to meet new people, while still engaging in that STEM identity and still learning about STEM careers. We have engineering and problem solving days where we have activities. So you can see one of the activities is finding out how the biggest bubble you can blow with bubble gum, which sounds silly, but there's a lot of skills involved in measuring and being scientific, writing things down, and of course building with not necessarily engineering materials. So building buildings out of straws or paper to see what you can make. And that transfers right into these more specific engineering skills like building bridges, which we see our engineering students, even in college, they still build bridges because it's just so valuable to learn about architecture and about structures and about materials. And if students are part of prep, they get to learn about these activities and they get to know some of the ideas behind them even before they're engaged in high levels in college and in high school. And of course, our field trips. These are some places that we've been in the past. And unfortunately, we don't know exactly everything of what we're going to be doing for field trips this summer because COVID just changed things and things can change very quickly, as I'm sure you have seen. But we've been to NASA, to SAWS, we've been to the Toyota factory to see how they program their robots and work on their engineering. So they will have opportunities to go into the field, to meet people, to see places, and to see STEM in action. So the cost of the program is important, but you will not pay anything out of pocket this year. Cost for participation is $500 per student, but we have established agreements with districts in San Antonio to where they've paid for a number of slots. And if we don't have an agreement with this, there is a scholarship fund. So parents are not going to pay anything out of pocket for their students this year. You won't have to pay anything. Additionally, we are extending the free lunch or free or reduced bus fare to this program. So you'll have to submit documentation as part of the program, but you're going to have to do that anyway for next year in school. So it just lets you get it done a little bit earlier. And then any students who qualify for free or reduced lunch or free or reduced bus fares, they will still qualify for that in prep. The program will run June 20th through July 29th, so 6 weeks. It's a lot of time in the classroom, 9 through 4, Monday through Friday, but it is a hybrid modality. So 2 classes per week, Mondays and Fridays will be online, and then Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays will be either at the UTSA campus, possibly St. Mary's campus, or the downtown UTSA campus, or on a field trip. Now, we have arranged for some bus transportation from select locations, and the districts, we're still working with them to try and improve that. So there will be bus transportation from select locations available for your students. We want to talk a little bit about first year and then how they differ from second year students. Some of you may have already had your student be part of prep, and that's great because going to second year is a little bit easier. But for 6th through 8th graders, for the first year, we really like to have 6th through 8th graders. We will accept some 9th graders with certain requirements, but mostly for our first year students, we prefer to have students in middle school. And then every subsequent year, they'll come back and they can apply 7th through 11th grade. Now, they do need to have completed the prep from the previous year to move on. So if your student completed year 1 in 6th grade and then maybe took last year or the next year off and they weren't part of it, now they're in 8th grade, they'll move into prep year 2, even though it's been a couple years since they did year 1. The year one application requirements are a little bit more. There's just one more thing that has to be done, but they do require parental permission and a 70 plus in the most recent grading cycle in math, science, and English. They need to also have the English scores. We do request a student's transcript of grades, either report card, whatever we can get, but it does need to include a satisfactory conduct grade. I think some districts call this citizenship, some call it conduct. If you don't have one on your student's report card, not to worry, you can request, there is on the website, there is a way to request a letter from a counselor that to give us an idea of their conduct. So it is still possible. I know, don't panic if you look at that report card, you don't see anything for conduct. They do need to be nominated for the first year. This is the big difference between the first year and subsequent years. They need a nomination from a math, science, or English teacher, or from a counselor. We do have a nomination form online on our website, so you can find that and have a teacher fill it out. And then an essay, 100 to 200 words on why I want to participate in prep. We want students who are highly motivated to be part of this program. We understand that your student is probably very motivated, and they need to let us know. They need to know what they wanted to get out of this program, what they're looking for, and how they're going to be using it in the future. And you can find links to each application online on our website. There is a separate application for each year, so make sure that you're clicking on the right one for your student. Now for years 2, 3, and 4, they do need parental permission. They still need the 70 plus in their grades. They still do need a satisfactory conduct grade in the essay. They just won't require the nomination form. And that deadline for all applications is March 15th of this year. So please, please, please get your students started on it now. Get those recommendations from your teachers, get it all in as soon as possible, because you don't want to be down to the wire. Now, the application timeline is fairly straightforward. The deadline will be in the 15th of March, and after the 15th, we'll start reviewing and accepting students. And then we hope to have an acceptance packet out to all students by April 30th of this year. So they'll have the packet, they'll have their next steps, all in that nice email. Or I don't think we're doing a physical. I think it's an email this year. And then the program runs again from Monday, June 20th to Friday, July 29th. If you need to contact us for any reason, you can contact us at prep@utsa.edu. You can also phone. We don't have a phone. We don't have a phone right now. Don't call us on the phone. But if you are looking for a transcript, this is our address on campus. So you do have to. There is a transcript request form on our website as well for previous years if you have a student who already participated. But there's plenty of instructions on the website on how to request those transcripts. All right, I want to go ahead and start looking at questions.
So Austin, a couple questions I've already addressed, but we're going to go back and still answer those questions just in case someone missed the answer. One of the questions was, is it going to be online? So can you address the modality again?
Yes, sure. I want to make sure that everyone understands that. That's a good question. So it will be a hybrid modality. Once again, 2 weeks, 2 days per week, Mondays and Fridays will be online. And then Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays will be on a campus or on a field trip. So we will have partially online and then partially in person.
The next question is, when you say currently enrolled in 6th grade, does that mean student has to be 6th grade in August this year?
Yes, the student needs to be enrolled in 6th grade this year. We need
this
to see
academic year right now, not year. August, right now.
When we see that report card, we need to see that they are in 6th grade currently. That's a good question, though. Thank you. And I know we want our students to get it started as soon as possible.
Another question is, if your child is still in middle school, how does the high school credit work?
Oh, that is a good question. I like that question. So if your child is in middle school and they complete maybe 1, 2, even 3 years of prep, what you'll do is you'll hold on to your transcripts from each year, and when they reach high school, they can request elective credits from their advisor. So there is a process for doing that. You'll have to have your student talk to your or email their advisor, and then you give them their transcripts, and then your advisor will know where to go to get the information necessary to get rolling on getting them their credits. But they'll just be held for a little while. They won't get them in middle school.
All right, the next question is, which university is confirmed for third-year students?
That's a good question. We had this question in a previous session, and I didn't know how to answer it, but now I do. So the plan is to have students attend at the campus which is closest to where they live. So if you live close to the UTSA campus downtown, near downtown, then that's where your student will go. If you live closer to St. Mary's, if we actually do have a site at St. Mary's, then they'll be at St. Mary's. I think St. Mary's wants to do only year 3, but that's neither here nor there for now.
That's correct.
And then if they're closer to the main campus at 1604, then that's where they'll be.
All right, the next question is, the hybrid model is for all students, correct?
Yes, that is correct, Sadie. Thank you. Yes, this hybrid model is for all students across the board. That's what we're going to be doing.
All right, the questions keep coming. That's great. Thank you, everyone.
I love it.
If our student's middle school does not use a traditional grading scale, will the school need to translate grades? For example, our school gives scores of 1, 2, 3, 4 rather than percentage grades.
I can't speak as to what your student's school might do with that. I presume that that's what they would do when they receive the transcript, but I don't know for sure. That's something definitely you could talk to their advisor about.
Another option too, like I know when students are applying for college and they have a school district that uses a different grading scale, many times campuses will have like a memo or a note that explains like, this is how these convert. That might be an option as well when you request the transcript. Next question. When will we know the location and transportation details for second year?
I don't actually know exactly the answer to that question. My guess is that we will hopefully have it by the time we send out your acceptance packet. That I think is the idea. And that way you'll know sort of what is going on for your student.
Yeah. And it also is varying slightly dependent upon the districts, because we have to work with the districts independently to figure out busing, because students can't ride buses cross district. For example, a student from Southside can't ride a bus from San Antonio ISD because of legal issues. And so we're having to do individual agreements with the different districts. So it might vary slightly on the districts, but yeah, Austin's right. We're hoping to have that figured out by the time we send the details. Next question, will the days that are on site, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, be online, but at the school, or in-person teaching?
That's a good question, and I like it. They will be in-person teaching. The idea is to have teachers come in and teach students in a classroom in person. So they'll have the opportunity to like be with other students and meet with them, and also their teachers.
And it would be at either the UTSA campus or the other campus, so not at their school sites.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they keep coming. Good.
Yeah, I love it.
Is there any way you confirm that you received your application?
I have received a number of emails regarding that, and I've been diverting them to the prep email, and the prep email should be able to start sending out confirmations for emails for applications very soon. Just email them at prep@utsa.edu, and then they'll get back to you about the status of your student's application.
Is the scholarship based on income, or does it apply to a student not associated with a partnering public school?
The scholarship is for students who are coming from school districts who don't have an established partnership. So it's not based on income. There's no special application for it. It will just be applied.
All right. If student is completed only 3 years and not 4th year, I'm not sure if we got the complete question here.
So if a student completes 3 years, they get 3 credits for high school. You don't have to complete all the years, that's fine. And I think that's what maybe was being asked.
Was that the, yeah, if that wasn't the answer to the question you're asking, please feel free to ask again. The next question is, do we need to fill out a scholarship application?
You don't. If your student is accepted, they will either be brought in under their school district's partnership, or they will be brought into the scholarship fund.
So
I love that question. These are great.
Here. Due to pandemic, how many sick days kids can take during the hybrid model?
Okay, that's good. So there are we have a program approved through the Texas Educators Association. So like we can't change it, but they do get 3 absences from the summer program. I confirmed that yesterday. And they will want to make up any missed work that they have. But fortunately, if they have 3 absences, that's a whole week, right? Because they could still go on Monday and attend the class via the hybrid model online, and then Friday, if they're still sick, they can still be online, and they could have missed a whole week and still be fine. They will want to make up that work though, because they still want to get a good grade so they can apply for the high school credit.
And also kind of like along those lines, if a student misses more than 3 days, then they can still continue participating. They just won't get the high school credit.
That's correct.
So yeah. And we got clarification on that question, Austin. It says, so if we complete only 3 years, do we still get the credit for high school?
That's correct. Yes. Each year of prep counts for 1 elective credit in their high school. So if you complete 2 years, you take those transcripts to your student's high school advisor, and then they'll receive 2 credits, 2 elective credits.
All right, we've got another credit question. For the high school credit, does the grade from prep factor into their high school GPA, or just the credits move over?
Now, I believe that will depend upon the student's school and what they decide to do with it. But in my experience in the past, from what I understand, yes, it generally does go into their GPA. Which can be great if they get a good grade, because that means their GPA is more solid. I love these questions. These are really good.
So Austin, we don't have any other questions, but let me ask a question that came up in the session yesterday, just in case someone might be wondering that same thing. Because one of the questions we had yesterday was about makeup work, if students can complete makeup work and how that would be accomplished.
Yes, students can and should do any makeup work for any days that they are absent. They will need to contact their instructor to receive instructions on how they'll make up that work though. So definitely stay in contact with your student's teacher to make sure you understand how and if there is a makeup work policy and how that functions.
All right, another question. So instead of percentages, can the students just get the credits?
As far as I can guess, that would probably depend on your student's high school. But they will probably want to use the GPA. They will probably want to give percentages for it. But these grades are optional. These credits are optional. So if your student participates in the program and doesn't get the best grade, maybe not something they want to add to the GPA, there's no need. This is an elective credit. They don't have to apply it to their transcripts. They don't have to apply to get it. So if they take it, they're at least getting the experience and the knowledge and the skills, and then they get to decide whether or not they want it to be part of their GPA.
All right, so next question. So we need to send you a transcript of what our student has already done with prep, looking at the prep academic record request form.
Oh, I'm glad you're looking at that already. No, you do not have to send us previous prep years as part of the application. That request form is to let us know that you'd like a transcript to send to your student's high school for high school credit. We have their records, so we don't need to send that to us.
All right, I missed a couple questions, so I'm going back. Sorry about that. If students do the makeup work but have to miss more than 3 days, will they no longer get the high school credit?
That's right. Yes. If they have to miss more than the allotted number of absences, which is 3 days, they can still make up all the work. They can still be part of the program. They can still even move on to the next year of prep the next year. They just won't be able to apply it for high school credit.
All right, so the next question that I missed is, are the teachers from UTSA?
The teachers are not from UTSA. We will have speakers from UTSA, and they'll be part of the UTSA Makerspaces on the engineering school. But the teachers will be recruited from Texas schools.
All right, who decides if the percent is applied to the GPA?
My guess would be that the high school does, because the high school is going to be in charge of how they want to manage the student's GPA.
The next question is, if the school does not count the GPA or credit, who can we talk with at UTSA to help with the school?
Oh, that's a good question. I would contact the prep email, and then from there, we can sort it out and figure out who needs to be in charge of that. But generally speaking, like, this is a TEA recognized program, so they should recognize the credit.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the next question, if the student chooses not to apply, can they have the say regarding that?
I think the question is asking if a student chooses not to take these credits and apply them to their GPA, can they do that? Absolutely. Now, they cannot choose whether or not the school takes the credit and then applies to the GPA, but they can say, you know what, I did this summer program, I got a B, and I learned a lot of things. I got a lot of really cool experiences, but I got a B, and I don't want to put that in my 4.0 GPA. So I'm just not going to take the credit. I'm going to take the experience and the skills that I learned, and I'll apply that to next year in prep and my school, my classes, but I will not receive credit. I won't receive that elective credit, which is fine. They can do that.
Yeah. And along those lines too, like if a student decides to do prep but doesn't want to get the credit, they can also still put it on college applications, because college applications will ask, like, you know, for extracurricular work that they did, things that they did outside of the classroom. So even if they choose not to get the credit for their transcript, they can still put it on their college applications. And that looks really good to colleges to see that students, that they were committed to doing this program, because this is a big commitment for middle school and high school students.
It is.
And
absolutely.
It's a recognized program across the nation. So colleges would recognize this program. And then a question about, can you talk about online classes, time, schedule details?
I don't know that I can say much more than the online classes will be held from 9 to 4 Monday and Friday. There will be a break for lunch, but otherwise they'll be working, I believe, synchronously most of the time. So they will have a live instructor with them, as far as I understand. I don't think there's a plan to do asynchronous instruction, but I will admit that I'm not very well informed into how that's going to work. So it is possible they could have asynchronous days.
Yeah, they're in the process right now of modifying the curriculum to work with this new format that we're using. So we don't have all of those details yet, but what Austin said is accurate. It sounds like that's the direction they're going. All right, I think I caught, oh, we've got another one.
I love it.
We did the online program last year, and 9 to 4 in front of a computer is a lot of screen time for a middle school student.
I strongly agree, as someone who's taught online. However, these instructors, like, they have experience working with students online because they are teachers in Texas. So they will schedule in breaks or times to look away from the screen. So I'm not too worried about that, because they're already doing a lot of that when they were doing online school. And then these teachers know how to work. They know how to work with students.
And as they're designing, like redesigning the curriculum, they're very well aware of the limitations for students. That was feedback they received last year. And so they are taking that in consideration. So something that they are looking at is creating like home kits that the students will take with, that the students will like pick up, that they'll use during those virtual days. So that way there's still some hands-on taking place too. All right, we've got another question. This is great.
I love it.
I did receive mail for application submission. Can we consider that confirmation of my application, or do I need to check writing email?
So that's a good question. So if you received an email of your confirming your application submission, that means that we received the application. That doesn't necessarily mean that all the documents ended up in the right places and all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted. So what we can do is you should contact prep@utsa.edu and ask about the status of your application. And from there, they can check on if there's anything else that's required or everything looks good. If you're very concerned about your application. I love it. I love when people are engaged. That's always so nice.
All right, any other questions? Give you a minute to keep writing. And while you're doing that, I'm going to put the link to the prep website in the chat again, because I put it in there a while ago, and this way you don't have to go searching for it.
And let me get that. There's the QR.
Oops.
How to decide who can enroll in prep. So we will accept students based on their applications, based on their essays, and based on their recommendations. But we have a lot of openings. We have a lot of slots for students. So we want to accept as many students as we can. And we love returning students. If your student's done year one already, we'd love to have them back. So I cannot say that all applicants will be guaranteed admission.
Can you state the question, Austin, so that
yes,
way,
I'm sorry.
in case for the recording? Sorry.
Yeah, let me, sorry, yes, you're right, we're recording. I should Miss America. So are all applicants guaranteed admission? I can't say that all applicants will be guaranteed admission, but we do want to bring in as many students as possible. And we're already looking at trying to get 150 students and maybe more. So our directors are very optimistic about having lots and lots of students in this program, and we want to get as many as possible. Are first year students prioritized in the application? Well, they'll be prioritized in the first year application. There are 4 different applications, one for each year of prep. And so there's no special, oh, we want lots of first year students or second year students. They're all considered based on the year that they're entering into. Is the location not decided yet? We actually haven't finalized every location, but we do know that we'll be hosting at the UTSA downtown campus and at the UTSA main campus. We're working on getting other sites, including St. Mary's. So there are a couple of things that are not finalized yet, but definitely we will be having classes UTSA downtown and the UTSA main campus. Are returning students prioritized? Not necessarily. We don't have a priority for returning students, but we do want to encourage students to keep going through the program. But again, the applications are considered based on the year. So we don't have 500 slots for all students. We want to encourage 150 new students, 150 year 2 students, 150 year 3 students, as many students as we possibly can. And we want them to we want to consider them based on the year that they're entering.
Yeah. Like first year students are considered completely separate from second year. Second year students are considered completely separate from other years. So we're looking at separate years instead of all together. Just giving everyone a little bit more time to type, because see if any other questions come in.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate your questions.
If you think of questions later, or if you have questions that you didn't want to address in the chat, you can also email us at the prep email account, which I put in the chat.
Absolutely. Please contact us via email if you think of anything you need to know.
Let me see, Austin, if I can put the flyer in the email. Give me in the chat just a second.
Oh yeah, that is a good idea.
Okay, I've put the flyer for prep in the chat, so you can access there's information there. The link to the website is there, as well as the contact information.
So why are all the classes not being held in person? The first is that it can be a little bit straining for students to make it every single day to a campus. And the second is that it can be a strain on our teachers as well. So we thought that the hybrid modality was a good middle ground. It also means that, say, if your family wants to go out of town for a weekend and have a long weekend somewhere, your student you could still go Friday to Monday, and your student, as long as they have internet access and they have access to a laptop or a tablet, they could still be part of the program and they can still do the program. And then it's not interrupting because we know people take vacations on summer. So that means you could do a long weekend and still be online. So I do have a question from someone asking, my daughter is currently in 5th grade, will be in 6th grade in August. Is she qualified? Unfortunately, no. Your student needs to be in 6th grade this current academic year to apply. That is a good question, though.
Prep will be back next year. So
yes, we run it.
Come back next year.
And now you have all the information. Although you should still learn about like what's going to be going on next year. If kids are sick, will they get online classes for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? No. So if your student is sick for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday classes, they will need to make up the work because they'll still be having classes in person. I don't think there's any plan to do an online hybrid where all of the classes are presented online. So just need to make up that work, but they'll talk with their instructor, they'll figure it out. It's not too big of a deal to make up that work. Yes, hopefully COVID is not a concern anymore in June. San Antonio's numbers looks like they're improving based on the Bexar County website. So hopefully being in person won't be such a big deal in June.
We are also, though, as they're designing the program, like they're designing it in a way so that if we need to pivot to a different format, we will be ready to do so easily in order to keep the kids safe.
Teachers have gotten very good at taking what they're doing and converting into an online format. But I do hope that they'll have the opportunity to be in person because I really want them to get to go on those field trips and get to see other kids and get to know them. There are a lot of advantages to being online school, but there are some things I like about being in person. Kids like in-person classes. Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of students do. Thanks. We're looking forward to the year. We are too. We're very excited to have these students finally in person again after so long. The opportunity for them to get to go places and meet people and get to know each other and to experience some of the really cool things that we have at the UTSA campuses, like those engineering maker spaces where they can see robots, giant robots, and industrial things. I've seen them, and they're very cool. Of course, I'm sure that students are not going to be dealing with industrial robots, but we do have those.
Any other questions before we wrap up? These have been some great questions.
I do. I love these questions. They're really detailed.
Oh, we got a question. I joined the meeting late. Could you summarize the hybrid model?
Yes, I can. So the hybrid model, we're going to have students in person on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at the UTSA campus, either main campus or downtown. And then Mondays and Fridays will be held online classes. And ideally, the plan, as far as I've seen, has been for them to be live face to face online with an instructor, not something asynchronous. And then Emily brought up a good point, and that is that I know that they're developing take home kits for this program. So students will, when they're in person on, let's say, Thursday, they will have their normal Thursday activities, and then they'll take home a take home kit, and then they'll work on that together as a class on Friday, but remotely.
We are recording this session, and so we will also be making the recording of the information session available online. And it will be on the prep website. So then that way, if you missed anything, that you can go back and view the recording as well.
I think that may be the end of our questions. I'm not seeing anything else. But I am very happy to hear from all of you. I'm so glad that you took the time today to attend. It's such an investment in your students' future, and this is such an amazing opportunity to get to know people and students, other students that are interested in STEM field. It's an amazing experience, and I hope that your students will have so much fun.
Hold on, Austin, I just got a message.
Absolutely.
If your child was admitted last year, but didn't, I'm guessing, join because of online. Okay, here's the full question. If your child was admitted last year, but didn't join because of the online only, do they need to apply again?
Yes, your student will still need to apply again, and they'll need to apply to the year that they haven't completed. So if they did the first year in person, then last year they applied for year 2, but it was online only and they just didn't want to do it, then they'll need to apply for year 2 again. So they need to apply for whatever they haven't completed. But yes, if your student did apply and was accepted last year, those applications do not roll over. So you need to submit another application. You'll need to submit an application each year you want to be part of prep. All right, I don't see any more questions. And if you do have questions, please email us at prep@utsa.edu. But I want to thank all of you so much for being with us here this noon, not quite, well, now it's afternoon. Um, I appreciate you, and I hope that we'll see your students this summer.